And we do them every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So you see the reason as well. You need to be there so that you get to know what is happening. Wow. Thank you very much. I now want to introduce the speaker of the night. Pauline is a new friend. I've just come to know her through this session. One of our earlier speakers called Dr. Gloria introduced me to her. And I've joined her sessions online. She does some wonderful Facebook sessions. I was able to sneak in and see what she is doing there. And I was like, wow, this is the kind of speaker I want here. And so I'm so excited to have Pauline here. And Pauline, the youths are in your hands, 70 already there, seated waiting for you. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Matthew, for giving me the youths in my hands. So yeah, it's lovely. Honestly, it's I'm humbled, and it's not the cliche where we say we are humbled to be here. But honestly, I am. Thank you for the invitation, Matthew, which you did a while back. I mean, almost a month ago. And we thank God that this is the day that He has made. It is the Lord who has made us get here. Thank you, Dr. Gloria. I can see her somewhere in the room for even letting me meet up with Matthew, and we have talked. We have not met physically, but we thank God for technology, for phone, for WhatsApp, for Zoom, that we can meet. So it's lovely to be here. Good evening, everybody, wherever you are. I know you're in your room, some are in the kitchen, some are in the bedroom, wherever you are, it is well. And I want to pray that each one of you will go home with something. So I really love this topic. So yeah, I'm Pauline, a counselor. I'm also a mediator and a speaker. And I love the Lord. I'm born again, I'm married, and we have 2 daughters. Been married now for 13 years, and we have 2 daughters. And yes, and let me start by saying that the topic alone, you know, choosing how to choose the right partner for life, marriage partner. In fact, when I was preparing and I saw choosing the right life partner, you know, most of the time we say choosing the right marriage partner. But just the way Matthew has put it, choosing the right life partner makes it even more serious, you know, makes it, you know, it gives it the seriousness that it needs. Because I was just looking up in the dictionary, a life partner is, it's either member of a couple, that is the man or the woman, that is regarded as permanent. I mean, it is a life partner, is a permanent, is somebody you're with until death. And that's why we say, I take you until death do us part. It's unfortunate that many people are now getting married with the notion of, you know, this, if it doesn't work, I get off. And we are not saying that there are not situations that can come in marriage that can make you maybe take a short break, maybe a separation or so. I'll not talk about divorce because I'm a believer that God hates divorce. But of course, through counseling, there are some situations in a marriage where warrant people to take some time off so that they deal with the issues as they work things out. But because there is permanent, marriage is permanent, marriage, and the author is God. God authored it that way. And that's why he said, I hate divorce. And if at all, I can see young people here, and I mean, all of you are young, and maybe majority of you, 80%, are actually in that phase of maybe dating. Maybe you have already seen somebody, you have not approached them yet. Maybe you're the lady who has seen someone but really waiting, or even someone is really wasting your time right now. You have dated for so long or gone out for so long, but they've never said anything. And you're there. So at times we are in relationships which are gearing to marriage. Some people waste time for one another because you almost know I'm not there, but you're there. Because again, relationships involve emotions. So at times it's hard to come out from a relationship. It's interesting that today, I think I had 3 consecutive sessions in the morning, and they were all of people who are dating, who want to get married. And most of the time when we are doing counseling for people who are not married, some of them, you actually see that they are red flags. And those are some of the things I'll talk about. And of course, red flags, you've heard of them. Anything red flags means there's danger. You actually see. But then you still say, I still want us to work on this. And then one of the questions we ask in the counseling session is, this is, and that is where I want to start from, that whatever we see before we are married is just a preview or a trailer. You know, the way people who watch, those who are here and you love movies, you know, they are always, if you go to the net and you want to find out what a movie is about, you just look for the trailer of that particular movie. So you'll say whether, do I like this movie or not like this movie? So that is what before marriage does for us. You know, when we are dating, when we are looking out for someone, when we are even courting, at times even courting, because of course courting comes before dating. You're very sure that this is the person I want to say I do to. But it is still a preview. It's a trailer of what is going to happen. And so one of the things we ask people in counseling is, what you're seeing today, yes, it might be a red flag. You actually don't like it. Now, fast forward, you get married and you say, I do. Will you be comfortable with it in marriage? And if you're able to answer comfortably, yes, then go ahead and get married. But if you're struggling with something that you're seeing in a relationship right now, and you cannot comfortably say, yes, I'm okay with the way she is, the way he is, with everything that she is. I was telling people the other day, and I'll tell you here, saying I do, and I'm removing my ring, as I say I do, as I said I do 13 years ago, and the majority, those who are here know. You know, the priest or the pastor keeps telling you, put it down as you say those words. You say, you know, with all that I am, in sickness and in health, for better, for worse, for good things, in bad times. And then you get down, and then probably in your church, you say, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So what you do at the altar that time is you're confirming and saying that whatever I have seen before marriage, whatever I have seen as we dated, I say I do. Whether she was unfaithful, whether he was unfaithful, I probably even caught him, maybe just a phone call, maybe even actually met them. Maybe someone was unfaithful even in matters of, you know, body-wise, you know, they went and slept with someone before marriage, and you say they came and apologized. Maybe they said, every time you talk about something, they say, I'll do, we will do, we will talk about it. Let's go and visit your parents. Now it is time we make things official. But all the time we keep postponing with no particular good reason. Now, those are red flags. Now, saying I do means you don't care if he will be planning with him or you'll be planning with her, and she doesn't do what you have agreed. It is something you actually see. And I want to tell you, young people, this evening, because of the experience, it may be just about 6 years now, or though I started earlier than I started my own practice, but I'll tell you with a fact, and I'll tell you to take this to the bank. If you get it right before marriage, you will not struggle in your marriage. If you're able to, that person and the few things I'm going to share this evening, then you're not going to struggle in your marriage. Of course, there will be adjustment issues, which are normal because you're different. Actually, and one of you is not never.
Okay, we seem to have a problem. We seem to have actually lost our speaker. So allow her to come back. Network manenos, don't you worry. We got you covered. We are already 87 in number. This is Dadaras. For those ones who are joining in, karibuni sana. We had already started the session. The speaker has just been somehow thrown out. Don't you worry, she will be back shortly. Yes, I can see Terry says she's gonna be back soon. Thank you very much, Terry, for that. I guess you might actually be with her. So she is coming back. In the meantime, for those ones who have just joined, let me share with you a WhatsApp link. We have a WhatsApp group. As I said, this is not a one-off session. We do this every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And it's been awesome journey. And therefore, I'm sure you don't want to miss the upcoming ones. We have different topics every day, every session. And the topics are definitely the kind that you must be looking for as a youth. Everything that we bring here is relevant to a youth who is between 20 and 30. But what has happened is that they also they happen to become very, very relevant to also those ones who are beyond between 30 and 40. So like if I was to do a quick survey here, I'm sure today I will get a lot of so many who are between 30, maybe 20 and 35. But on a regular basis, we are having like, between 30 and 20 and 30, maybe 50%, and the other one's 50%. So basically it's about the youths, about career, talk about relationships, talk about, life skills and everything else. And so you are in the right place at the right time. You are seeing me for the first time. I know my face, my whatever is not very clear, but you saw the poster. Matthew is my name. So I'm doing this as I'm waiting for the speaker because I don't want us to get distracted. But can you imagine we are 92? We are gonna clock 100 in the next few minutes, and I don't know what will happen to the others.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Matthew. I just found myself off.
Sorry for that. It happens. Yes, I was keeping the congregation busy. Go ahead.
And thank you all of you for just being patient. Yeah, so I was saying that what I wanted to say is that if 90, I'll tell you this 90%, that most of the issues in marriage, when we go through histories and all of the clients or issues of marriage, you realize that they started way before marriage. So whatever you see, and that's why I'm emphasizing to you that whatever you see today is a trailer, is a preview of the bigger picture. And any honest married person will tell you, whatever I saw is what I got. Even those things that I ignored is what I saw. So you are in the right, this is the right age. You should actually be celebrating. Now, when I say that you should be celebrating, that is not to underestimate the struggle that we go through before we get married. I have been there. It can become a bit discouraging. It can become a bit, you wonder, when will this ever happen? At times you look at your friends and wonder, when is it gonna happen? Maybe your age mate getting married. At times you get dumped or you dump somebody, and time keeps going and you wonder what it is. So as much as I'm telling you, be happy that you still have time to make the right decision. That is not to say that I underestimate anybody right here in this room who is going through a difficult time, because maybe they went through a broken engagement, a broken relationship, or things are not just working. But what I want to tell you is, one of the things that we'll talk about is, it is not time to maybe sorrow and worry, but it's a time to work on yourself. I'm saying that because I told you in the trailer, Matthew sent them the trailer. That is the trailer I'm talking about, just a bit of, because I want you to know that I feel you, possibly you who is out here and wondering, will it happen? And I remember growing up and I really wanted to get married. I looked at marriage. I think I loved marriage even before I started talking about marriage. And so I looked forward. And so I was in college. I started dating a pastor. I had kept myself, the lady of a child of God, serving the Lord. And I knew that I'll get married the right way. That is what I desired. And so, yes, I actually started dating a pastor, just the way this church, hey, I'm even dating a pastor. So 3 years went, we were dating, and 6 months to our wedding. We had already planned our wedding. He had come to our home, had gone to their home. Now we were just waiting for the main ratio. And then at that point, one day he tells me, I was starting a Bible study where I was living in Punia, Pumwani, and he had gone for a mission. You hear he was a pastor. So we were meeting over coffee so that we talk about the goodness of the Lord, what the Lord had done. And remember, it's 6 months to our wedding. So we sit down and we are talking, and then he says, I want to tell you something. Now that was after sharing the goodness of the Lord. And then he says, I want us to terminate our relationship. I was like, I actually remember I laughed because I had not seen that coming. And I laughed and I'm like, you're so funny. Then he said, I realized he never changed his face. I said, I mean it. I want us to terminate. I'm not going to marry you. And of course, when I saw his seriousness, I realized it's true. And I remember because it was at Pumwani, because I was undermanned, he said, now let us pray. I go. He was a pastor, so we had to pray. I told him, no, we cannot pray. I mean, how do you end a 3-year relationship just like that? I mean, and then he said, okay, let me go. Of course, he akapanda matatu to go back to town. Then nikapanda ya pili tukafika town pamoja. I mean, whatever anybody who is in love would. And so I got to town and we alighted the same time, of course, in different. Then I said, do you really mean this? I couldn't believe it. And he said, yeah, by the way, I mean it. So of course, I had exams the following week, I remember. And after a week, I called him and told him, okay, so can we part well so that I just go tell my people? And he came and we met in town and I asked him, why did you do this? How could you do this to me? And he said it wasn't the will of God. And by the way, that year we had gone to Catoloni. How many know Catoloni? Let me see hands up with that. Catoloni is where people go to pray and fast, you know? So we went to pray and fast for our wedding plans. And of course, we were reading those, you know, the way some say your wife will be like, you know what, your children, those nice verses. And they are very good even now. And then he tells me that. And then I was like, what are we doing then? Then he says, no, it wasn't the will of God. So anyway, we prayed, Then I went home and I of course, I told my mom and my siblings, and they were very, very annoyed. And the following day, I said I needed to tell my whole extended family because they knew him, they knew us, our wedding plans were on the way, and I told them. And of course, it was a bit difficult, but I wanted to do it. I didn't want my mom to do it because I realized if she does it, she'll go and say that her daughter has refused it. You see, she doesn't want her daughter to be ashamed. It is easier to say my daughter has refused him. But it was, anyway, that the fact of the matter is I was dumped. He refused me. I wanted to get married. But then he told me it wasn't the will of God. And so what I want to say is, I know I'm speaking to somebody who's probably feeling so hurt, feeling just from a broken engagement. Things are not working. This guy is not saying anything. But I want to say that you'd rather, and I normally say this, you'd rather a broken engagement than a broken marriage. Now, I don't leave it there. I always add, not just better than a broken marriage, but better than a troubled marriage. Because you can actually get married, but you will probably be troubled in that marriage. So you'd rather that broken, whoever is right now probably hurting, I would rather you be in that position than get into marriage and be in a troubled relationship with somebody who doesn't care about you, just so that you say I'm married, just so that because it's nice, okay, to say you're married, but is it just it? Are you happy in it? So I'm talking about those kind of people who I know are here, who are feeling that way. So even as I say you're at the right place, I'm not underestimating. It is not easy to be there. So of course that went on, and the word went around that Pauline has been dumped. Now I had to face people, started healing, and I thank God that I got healing. But of course, I remember asking the Lord, God, you know, I really wanted to be talking about marriage. Now, how can you make me be dumped like that? So I stayed again, and you'll not believe it, I got married the 5th year after I was dumped. So this time I'm seeing my friends, of course, getting married and everything, going for wedding committees, and you're like, Yani Jesus, Yani me, I will not, you know. But then, long story of it, after that, now I met my husband, actually through his colleague who was my friend, and we met one day in their place, and long story short, a short while later, we got married, and here we are. So what I'm saying is, yes, it might be painful right now. I don't know what you're going through, but you're at the right place because you make an informed decision. So choosing the right life partner. One of the things, I want to use the acronym. I like acronyms. So I chose to use right, because we're talking about the right marriage partner. So the R for right, allow me to start with, when you're choosing the right marriage partner, you first have to be also the right person. Now, what is being the right person? Being the right person is if you reflect, if you see, look at yourself in the mirror, would you marry yourself? I mean, would you, do you have what it takes? You want to be a wife to someone. You want to be a husband to somebody. Do you have what it takes? To you, what is being a wife? To you, what is being a husband? You know, do you have those qualities that you think make a husband or make a man? And I'm not talking about physical things. Now, because physical things will be here and they can come and go. I'm talking about you as a person, your characteristics, your who you are right now. Are you that right person? Surely can someone want to marry you in the state you are at? And in the state, I mean, are you troubled? Because you could be actually wanting to get married, but you're in a state of, you're troubled. You're not at ease. You're feeling, you're not sure of who you are. If somebody asks you, who are you? Is it the first thing you say, the work you do? But who are you? Are you somebody who has dealt with your past? We all go through our pasts. We all go through hurts. Remember I said I was dumped. And if I'm waiting to get married, if I'm waiting to be looked for or look for a marriage partner, have I dealt with my past losses? Because being dumped is a loss. I mean, I lost a relationship. Because what happens is, if I've not dealt with the loss, with the broken engagement or relationship, it means I still have baggage. I've still carried baggage with myself. And that's why we call it a rebound. So I'm going to get in a relationship, but I'm not totally there because I'm still thinking about my past relationship. So am I the right person? Have I taken time to work on myself? Have I talked to somebody? Have I talked to a pastor? Have I talked to a friend, an older person that I respect, and told them, this is what I feel? Honestly, I'm not whole. I feel there are things that trouble me. I have issues. Maybe I grew up seeing my mother being beaten by my father, and I always think, will I be okay? So getting married in that state can be devastating because you bring in your baggage. The other person has their baggage. So it's very important to lighten your baggage. And I'm not saying we can completely be without baggage, but the heavier baggage, have you been able to deal with it? Have you forgiven if you need to forgive? By the way, that day I called the one who dumped me, I actually remember telling him, I have forgiven you. And I remember it made such a difference. Like, it's okay. It's not a sin not to marry me. Fine, I felt bad, but I forgive you. It's all right. Because I imagine possibly even him, he struggled to tell me that it wasn't the will of God. So are you the right person? Have you dealt with your past hurt? Have you understood your background? You know, there are backgrounds. When you understand also your background, you might be in a background where there are so many breakups in the marriages, or there is violence, or there is alcoholism. Or have you understood where you're coming from? So that even when you're getting married, you know also what to look out for. At times when we don't deal with the issues, we even attract people. We attract people with characteristics or things that they do that we never liked. And that's why you'll find somebody who probably under alcoholic father will still end up being dated by someone who is alcoholic, because that's what they know best. So they were not able to see, fine, it is not okay. So what should I do? So have you worked on being also the right person? Understanding what is it to be a wife? Have you worked on issues of being able to listen? You know, for example, maybe you're not a good listener, such things, because now, of course, when you get married, it's collaboration. So right in finding the right marriage partner is, are you the right person? Working on yourself. Number two of right, which is are you the person you're choosing, is the person independent? Independent on that, when you talk, he's talking about himself. Is that person you're choosing independent? That girl, that man, does he always say, let me ask my parents? You know, or the girl, no, I need to ask so and so, that charmer of mine, you know, I need to ask my you know, these days we maybe even your pastor, and it is okay to ask your pastors, but there are things also you need to hear from yourself, because it's not your pastor who is getting married, it is you. Are you independent? What are your thoughts? Is it only what you have been told? Are you an independent minder, or are you the person you're dating, is it? I've heard of, there's a time I spoke in a bridal shower, and I remember one of the lady was saying that the mother-in-law to be went and changed the color for the girls, the maids now at the tailor. And the man never said anything to the mother. So, the mother said, so is it the mother here are marrying, or is it him? So if that person you're looking for, you have chosen or you're choosing, are they independent? That lady, is she independent, or is she influenced also by her friends? Because there are people with friends who influence them, and they can be a negative influence. Even in marriage, you can have people who talk very negative about marriage. So even the person you're dating or you're seeing that you'd like for a person is influenced so much by their peers. Is that person independent? That whatever you discuss, it is from her, it is from him. Is it that person independent? The number 3, the G in the right person is the person God-fearing. And I don't know whether you're born again or not born again, but this is one non-negotiable. Remember I said these are non-negotiables, because we always talk about tall, handsome, I don't know the other things we say. Of course, growing up when we're little, we always think about tall, I want him handsome, and it's not about those things. They are okay. If you get a tall, handsome, mine is short. If you get a tall one, is okay. And a girl, if you get a size 8 or 12, it is okay. But it is not just about that. Those ones are external, and those things will change. People get sick. People get accidents. People get children and they become big, and they can never change. And I'm not saying, as I speak to myself, that we should not work on our weight. No, you can see the size I am. But so I'm not consoling myself there. But what I'm saying is, don't look, the outer is good, but these ones are non-negotiables. So is that person God-fearing? Now, when someone is God-fearing, and it's not God-fearing the one of saying I'm God-fearing, it is the actions. The Bible says we shall know them by their fruit. And I'm telling you, young girl, young man, if you're sincere to yourself, even right now as you think about it, you know whether that person, by the time you have stayed with them, or you're going to stay with them dating and just maybe looking around, you will know. God will bring it. If yourself, you're God-fearing, God will make it known to you. He brings it into the open. Is that person God-fearing? Meaning, is he guided by God, who is the author of marriage? If someone is God-fearing, they will want to know. My husband brings out that point very well when we speak with him. He says, if you're God-fearing, you will want to do what God says about marriage. So let that not be negotiable. Well, before I got married, there was a gentleman who used to come to my office, used to work in the floor I used to be in. And he used to come, he used to tell me about Jesus, because of course I wanted to hear about Jesus. Remember, somebody will come with what you like. So even Jesus, somebody will come with Jesus because you like Jesus. So he would come. So one day he brought for me his aunt to say hello. And I had also started to like him. He was nice, would share and all. And so he brought the auntie one day to greet me. Oh, hi, this is my aunt. I said, wow, this guy is even bringing me his relatives. This guy is getting serious. And so one day, his aunt happened to come and bounce. He had come to see him, but he never got him. So she decided, because she had been introduced to someone, let her come up and say hello. So in the process of saying hello, we are talking, and we are talking, and then she said, oh, and I had come to see so and so to help me. He really helps our family. I said, oh, that's nice. This guy even helps his family so well. Baka, they come and see him. Then she said, but you see, he can't help us so much because of his wife and children. See, I was in shock at the wife and the children. He had never told me he's married. He had never told me he has children. But the Lord made sure he will bring me his aunt to say hello to me. He will bring me his aunt to say hello to me. And he will bring me his aunt. Sorry, I saw someone in my house put on a video from where they are watching from. So that's why I laughed. Sorry. So God saw that he brought me, he had to bring me the aunt first. So God had to make sure that I'll not get into that relationship. So what is the point here? If you're God-fearing yourself, God will bring to light even before you make that decision. He brought it. And so that afternoon, he actually came to say hi to me. And there was an insurance gentleman in our office. So oh, hi. So how was your day? Fine. Then I told the insurance guy, by the way, sell for Nani insurance for his children. So he was in shock, like, funny you find out, because I felt, how could you play me like that? But my point is, God, you will know them by their fruit. So someone might cheat a little bit here and there, might tell you, I love the Lord, I go for Kesha, I do all the nice things that, especially ladies, and I'm talking about to you ladies right now, you will feel nice when you hear someone goes to church. It's not about just going to church. It's not about going for Kesha. Those ones are details. Is someone born again? Maybe even that person never goes for Kesha or for fellowship, but they fear the Lord. So is that person, G, God-fearing? H in right, we are still on right person. H is, does the person hear? Now, let me explain, because I know it sounds grammatically, and I was trying to work with my acronym. Do they hear? Somebody who hears is somebody who listens. Now, one of the major components in marriage, which helps marriage work, is communication. Now, it is very easy to talk. It's very hard to be taught how to talk. But listening is not easy. It is a skill which some people need to learn. Like people who are talkative like me, sanguine, we don't like hearing or listening. We have to purpose to. So is that person you're looking out for, do they hear? Do they listen? When you talk, do they listen? Because in communication, there are three components I normally talk about a lot when I'm talking to couples. In communications, there's talking, there's listening, and there's understanding. Now, the two, listening and understanding, can only work if the person hears. Is it somebody you talk who can give you time to talk? And I've seen people in relationships, they say, now he never listens. So really, if he doesn't listen, so what then will you be discussing? Is it only his way or her way? Again, it could be also a lady. You don't listen, you don't hear. So is it person you can talk with when an issue happens? Do they hear? Do they communicate? Do they listen when you talk? So that it's not, and it's a very important component to look out for, guys, because that is when I don't know whether you've heard about narcissism, it's people who put the other people down very fast. And those are people who are not good at listening. They just want to tell you, no, I've said we do this. Now, that's not a good component for if you're looking out for, as you look out for the right, for a life partner. You want somebody you can talk and you listen to one another. Then the last component, the last one in right partner is trustworthy. Trustworthy. Another name would be faithful. Are they honest? Do they have integrity? Are they trustworthy? Is it somebody you can take their word to the bank? Or is it somebody who you don't even know? You have to keep on, you have to keep on putting words or just saying, no, don't worry, he'll do that. You already know that they are not trustworthy. You cannot take, that's already, if somebody is not trustworthy, that is, the person is abusing you, the lady is abusing you, or the man. Because if you cannot trust them, or they cannot be trusted, then that is not somebody you want to be with for life. Remember, we said it's a permanent relationship, which is only terminated through death. Of course, there are many avenues people have also come up with, because we think there's another option. But it's very important to look out for, is the person faithful? Is the person faithful? Can you trust them for their word? There's a day I hosted a guy who was an abuser with a wife, and he was saying, if somebody, even if you plan that you're going to meet at a particular time, and for over 50 times the person always comes late with no good excuse, now that is an abuser. You cannot be wrong in a relationship for so many times. 1 or 2 times is okay. I can be late 1 or 2 times, but if it becomes chronic, everything. So you cannot trust this person. You don't know when they are going to come. Then there's a problem right there. It would if that is not a right person or to choose for as a life partner. So I think I should stop there so that Matthew can get any questions that are coming forth. But the right person, are you the right person for R? Is the person independent? Are they God-fearing? Do they hear? That is, do they listen? And then are they trustworthy? And that is faithful. So maybe we can get to Q&A before we proceed.
Thank you very much. Okay, sorry for the echo. I don't know where it's coming from. Okay, I think it's over now. Thank you. Wow, that's a blast. You know, I'm feeling like even if I'm already past that, I'm gonna celebrate my 10th anniversary this December, marriage anniversary. So, but I mean, I should have had this earlier. Well, I don't regret. I'm happily married. We did not get an opportunity to hear such, and I'm wondering, those minutes were very few. I mean, I know I'm speaking for the youth. It looks like you should have said more. But thank you very much. I want to allow the youth to ask questions here. So feel free, chat. We have a chat there. If you're using Zoom for the first time, just chat your question. I will be able to ask as many as possible. And I know we are so many. We have been 100 for quite a while. So many others have been seeing on WhatsApp or are locked out. They are watching on Facebook. And if you're watching on Facebook, please feel free, ask your question. It will get to us. Don't worry, it will get to us. So yeah, so let the questions start coming, or the comments if you have any. And that's why you came. And let's hear your interactions. Let's hear maybe has whatever you are looking for, been responded to. I did not hear.
Or like clarification or any clarification.
Yes. I did not hear you, Pauline, talk about tall, dark, and handsome. It's not part of the requirements. I thought it was.
I mentioned it, but I did not mention it as a requirement. Someone is saying it was too brief. Well, Matthew told me to speak for 30 minutes, so it is Matthew's fault.
It's Matthew's fault. It is okay. Let's use the remaining minutes, and I will allow you to extend a little bit if the questions are many. But yes, the thing is, what I was trying to highlight is that that the physical features are not even part of the the top things that you are looking for, because as the youth, we are focusing today at tall, dark, and handsome, how much money in the pocket, such kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can see they have started coming in. Maybe
great,
I can start working on. Yeah, I can see a first one in terms of selection of a spouse. How do you handle finances? Now, I know there's that issue, and especially for maybe a gentleman, you want to feel, you're financially stable and can maybe able to handle, and you'll be able to maybe face the family of the girl. But what I would say is, you also have to know, what does money mean to you? Because if somebody is possibly not a student, is working and has already started gaining some money, then, and you really feel that it is time to settle down, and because money is much money or enough money is relative. It all depends on you. So for me, it would be, if you're comfortable, you feel you can have your basic kind of life to start, then I wouldn't say that you need to be in a well-paying job. You need to be doing well in business. If at all you can meet your needs, because our basic needs are food, shelter, and clothing. Of course, if you need, we always say, what if you need to go to the hospital and all, of course, you can look up at those, but those should not make you you'd rather get married and continue working hard than not get married, but maybe start having sex. I always tell people, at times we start having premarital sex because you're not comfortable getting into marriage because of finances. But for me, I would rather the other way around. I would rather you get married, then continue working hard together, and then have sex in marriage, but not be outside marriage because you don't have money to settle down, but you're still enjoying the fruits of marriage. Do not enjoy the fruits of marriage before you're married. So for money, you need to know, how do you define money for yourself? Define it for yourself. If you have basic, if you can take care of your basic needs, I think don't judge somebody by the money they have, because tomorrow can be a different day. That personally, that's how I look at it. Let me see.
Yeah, it's okay. I can try also to be trying to combine for you the ones which look related.
Yes.
There's one who is asking, Lynn Kim is asking about aspirations. What happens when your aspirations are not the same? And I think I saw another one which was closely related to that. Sorry, Pauline.
There's one
okay,
that's
fine, ambitious.
This
There's one for
what
Veronica.
if the guy has all the qualities but he's not ambitious?
Oh yeah, that's the one I was looking for. Yes.
Yeah.
Combine
Again, ambitious. I always say that you see, like ambition is also relative. Ambition you need to understand maybe share with the person what is your goals for life, because it's important to share. What is my goals for life? You know, the person may have all, and I like how you put it, has all the qualities but ambition. But you might be the one who has you can also have ambition but not have all the qualities. So again, I need to say you cannot have everything. You at times look at 80-20 principle. You know, they might have everything but ambition. What are you ready to trade? And I'm not saying that trading means that asikwe ambitious, ama usikwe ambitious, but could it mean that you're the ambitious one and he, because this is a lady asking, so we want the men to be ambitious. But what if it's you who is ambitious? You know, I always say the verse that says submit one to another. It's not just women submit. The Bible goes on to the end of that verse and says submit one to another. So I always say submit one to another, and would mean I may not have something, an ability, but my husband has. So I will submit to my husband with his strength. Now, even for the man, he should submit to the wife. The wife might be ambitious more than him, but would he submit to her in that the lady or the wife now, the girlfriend, when they get married, would he submit to her that she can be also bringing in brilliant ideas? Because not in every home is the man who brings brilliant ideas. The lady may be the one who has brilliant ideas, but the man may have the money. Maybe it's not even about ambition, but he has a good job and can bring in the money, or is ambitious but has never really gotten maybe that high kind of money that you probably are thinking about. So for me, ambition, if the qualities are okay, but the ambition is not, as long as he's not lazy, because again, laziness, you don't want a lazy person. Maybe you just need to fuel them and help them. By the way, how about, can we do this? Does the person listen? And that's why I say, so can he hear? Can if you bring in an idea? So for me, that is, if you look at it and you feel, is it ambition for lack of ambition? Is it about laziness? Because of course, laziness is not a good quality. But if you have the ambition, you can still be the one coming in with the ambition. That's how I look at it. I hope I've answered.
Yeah, thank you.
Explain.
Yes, explain right person.
R
and you can take that one
right
alongside. You can take that one immediately after that about the religion. There's one person who has asked, what do you comment about different religions, like e.g. Catholic and Protestant? Yeah.
Okay. So the right, I meant that, are you the right person? Like if you think about, okay, I'm a lady, I want to get married. So I'm sure there are some ladies you admire. You say, oh, that wife, so and so, I really admire her. Whatever you admire in her qualities, and remember, I'm not talking about physical. Physical we can always make, and that's why I always say you might get a very poor person, and maybe the way they have worn, and then take them to an up market. The fact that they're in an up market and new clothes and makeup, they'll be totally different. And so for me, the outer would not really matter. But when you look at yourself, are you the right person in terms of, are you whole? Because at times we are moving, but probably we are suffering mentally. I'm not stable in my mind. I went through a lot of loss. I went through breakup. I saw my parents not having a good marriage. It has affected me to today. Have you been able to deal with such things? Have you worked on issues to do with, I talked about their qualities, we can learn and unlearn. You know, if it's about cooking, I know these days ladies say, hey, he must cook 50% of the time, I'll cook, which is okay. If you agree to be doing 50%, it is okay. There, I don't say what is right and what is not right. But as a lady, I mean, I always say, if you see a little girl somewhere and a boy and take them in a room with toys, the boys will go quickly to the cars, and the children, the girls will go to cook, because that's how we are natured. We are naturals, we are homemakers. So as a lady, am I cooking? Am I learning how to use skills? So that I'm not just staying there and saying, when will this guy come? What am I doing to be the right person? I know how to cook, how to make the home, so that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. If you're a man, maybe you have self-esteem issues, maybe you grew up being put down, and so you don't like, you've been put down, and so you don't like, you feel intimidated. Are you working on that? Are you seeing a counselor? Are you seeing a pastor? Do you have a mentor? So that's what I mean by R. The other one is about religion. Religion. Now, I talked about God-fearing and being God-fearing, but talking about religion, I might be a Catholic, the other one is an Anglican, for example. It is important that the two become one. So even in religion-wise, it is important for you to agree, where would we want to go when we are married? There are people who will say, let's go to this church, the man's church maybe, or let's go to the ladies' church. It's not any particular way, but of course in the African context, and we cannot throw away culture, mostly we follow the man to where they are going. But I'm not saying that is the standard. That is the cultural way. But what I would encourage you is, it is important, because you have become one, to agree on where you are to be. Now, some people don't agree. So what we do, or what they do at times, even in counseling or even by themselves, they get a neutral church. You know, they decide, let's be going to CITAM, for example. I'm just giving an example. So one was an Anglican, the other one was a Catholic. Let's be going to CITAM. We have not agreed on that. And some will easily say, me, I'm going to join the church of my husband. I remember when I was getting married, I used to be in the Anglican church and worked at the head office of the Anglican church. My husband used to go to JCC. And I remember the Archbishop of Kenya then, I actually remember him telling me, Pauline, just let your fiancé join ACK. I mean, we want him to come and serve. And I remember telling him that, but because I've not gotten a man from ACK, I'm willing to join him at JCC. And I remember the first year, we just decided to stay without being in ministry, just to settle in our marriage. And I was an Anglican, remember, and I really wanted to join Mother's Union when I was growing up. So I knew my dream for getting into Mother's Union, happened in another church. And fast forward after a year, we visited an Anglican church to do some, I think it was a baptism. And we went there the following Sunday. My husband said, I like that church, let's go there. A month after that, my husband says, I really like that Anglican church. How about we just join Anglican church? I was like, what? So there are things we may struggle with, but if it's in your heart's desire and God's will, it will come. There are people who actually think, I told my husband we go back to Anglican church. I did not. It came out naturally. So it's important to agree, where will you want to. It doesn't have to be either. It can be either. You can follow culture, and culture is also beautiful. And why not follow which other one?
Let me combine these two. Thank you very much for that. There's Brian, he's saying, how can one enhance proper communication when we are both not in good terms? Like, how should we handle everything and not sound harsh or rude? Because obvious, when someone is angry, things get out of hand. I combine that one with Jay. Jay is saying, is it okay to feel unsure of the person you intend to marry when maybe you disagree?
Yes. And first of all, actually, one of the things I always ask a dating couple, when they come for premarital, have you disagreed? Now, if they tell me no, I'll say no, then go back. I want a couple who has disagreed, because if you have not disagreed on anything, then one of you is pretending. So disagreeing is healthy, is a healthy thing. Now, if it is causing you alarm, then it means that it is deeper. It is not a normal disagreement. Maybe it is in terms of values. You know, maybe there are values that you have, and this person is talking about something which is very against your value. Now, that is why possibly it's disturbing you. And if it's disturbing you and it happens, it occurs quite a bit, then for me, that's a red flag. So you need to ask yourself, is this what I want? If we continue disagreeing on this particular issue and I feel cold feet, you need to ask yourself. And remember, I said, when you ask yourself, if you're not confident to say, yes, I do to that particular thing, then you can take time, you can retreat. You don't have to, you can flee the relationship, because at times I say flee, just leave the relationship, just say I think this is not it. Or you can take time, you can tell each other we need to take time and see how this goes. So disagreement is okay. And someone said, what if we are angry? Okay, of course, when you disagree, you're angry. I mean, and the Bible actually says, do not let the sun, get to the night before when with their anger. So it means anger is a human thing. You get angry, but you need then to know how, because of course when you get into marriage, you cannot be working with anger all the time. So you need to know, how do you work with anger? So you may not be able to solve an issue right now at the heat of the moment, but what you do is you must give a definite time when you talk about that issue. So don't say tutaongea lini. We talk on Saturday. Can we meet for breakfast? Can we meet for lunch? We have not agreed on this issue, but can we meet on that? So you have to be definite. Don't say tutaongea, because now that means you keep sweeping things under the carpet, never happens. So I'm not saying you must sort out everything at that time, because if you're annoyed, there are people who need time to cool down. There are others who want there, So you need just to know, do you need a little more time? So then again, it says, in your anger, do not sin. Because when you're angry, you might say something that disrespect the other person. So do you really want that? So you can take time and say, I'm not in a position for us to talk about it. Can we talk? So you have to learn how do you communicate? How do you solve conflict? Because remember, it is conflict that makes even marriages break. And the devil is right there to kill, steal, and destroy. So the minute you know how to handle conflict, the better. And not to handle it with anger. But it's not to say you will not be angry. You must be angry. You're human. But what do you do with it? Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Joseph Stewart is asking you to explain more about independence. What did you mean by independent?
When somebody is independent. Now that means, it means to be independent means you're not when you say something like, because you'll be agreeing on many things, even when you get married. Will you be always saying, I need to consult a friend? Will it be, there are people even who talk in plural, like, women are like that, men are, so already that is not an independent thinker. That is somebody who stereotypes. How do they, when people say, you don't help people, how do you talk about relating with people, helping people? Are they independent in their thinking? Do they always have to consult family? And I'm not saying consulting family is wrong, but can you talk about, can I be independent in that whatever I say, whatever you say, it's not, and I'm not saying it's bad to ask for advice from people, but even with asking for advice, can I be independent and say, fine, I have had this and this, but this is the way I think we should go. So that's what I mean with independence. I thought of an example that I wanted to give with that. Oh yeah, I wanted to give, for example, that's a story for another day. We are not talking about children or marriage, but our second daughter is adopted. And I remember when because we stayed long without having our children, so we wanted to adopt a child. And I remember we had agreed, me and my husband agreed, and I was like, oh, okay, so I hope, what with your parents? And I remember asking him, what I hope for some reason I knew my mom would be okay. But I asked him, will your parents be okay with us doing that? Because I know in the African culture, you want somebody na damu yako. Now you're telling people you're going to adopt. So, and I remember him telling me, it is our decision. You know, we are not going to borrow permission. We are going to inform them. Even your mother will go and inform her this and this. So we are not going to ask, can we adopt? So that is being independent. Whatever, it's not about what people will say, it is about what we want.
Okay, thank you very much. I need to mute you, Limo. Then I have seen, sorry for that. What's the difference? This is a nice one. Naomi Gashohe is asking, what's the difference between dating and courtship? I've also been in a setup where they were saying dating is secular. How true is this? That's Naomi, I guess, from China. As you answer that, let me just make an announcement. I'm sharing again our WhatsApp link. Please feel free to join so that we can continue the conversation after this. Thank you.
Okay, I'm realizing there are so many, Matthew. I don't know whether, I hope you're not getting, so dating and courting. Now, let me first say also, of course, they are Western things that we borrow. So of course, those terminologies, dating, courting, but of course, dating comes before courting. So dating is when you start now seeing somebody you like, and they also like you. So you start having a relationship. And maybe you're just saying, let's see how this goes. And then you continue. And then when you want to make it more serious, you can decide, oh, by the way, this is the way I really love you, or I love you too. We can take it, maybe this relationship more serious. So you start now more serious. And then now, and in the process of courting, that is where some people will be engaged. And you don't, by the way, don't feel bad if you're not engaged. Put a ring. You don't have to be engaged at like, oh, will you marry me? And those again are Western. It is nice if he can kneel down and all, but he may not do that. So those are terminologies we use. But courtship now is nearer marriage. Is when now this is the guy, this is the lady have chosen. Now we can now even tell our parents. So you can call it secular, but it's not a bad thing. So dating is when you just want to, because you can't instantly now say, this is the person. There are people, of course, who meet first love and they love each other. I mean, you just feel, I think even my husband told me after a few, not too long, we just met a few times. Then he told me he likes my cheeks. You can see I have chubby cheeks. That's the first thing my husband saw. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So, I mean, and then shortly after, and we started now courting, and we didn't take too long in coaching and planned our wedding. So, and remember, those who came in later, I had been dumped before, So even as I talk about this nice time that I also went through broken engagement. But what I'm saying is, those are terminologies, dating, courting. We might not say, now I'm courting you, I'm dating you, but they just follow one another that way. Yeah, but I don't think this.
Yes, closely related to dating, there is a question by Wadia. Is it okay to be dating and you are not happy, yet the other team is pushing for marriage?
Which other team?
I believe he's talking about the spouse, or rather the partner.
So you are dating and you are not happy, but they are happy. You have muted, Matthew.
Sorry. Yes,
sorry, I'm asking you because I'm not being able to keep up with it. All right.
That's okay. I'm jumping, but I will ensure that we have touched on all. Yeah.
Okay. Then if you're not happy, then don't be in it. Girlfriend, don't be in it. Boyfriend, don't be in it. If you're not happy, it's not worth it. Because what happens is you start developing feelings. Because remember, I said love is emotional. So you start liking them, start feeling bad when they don't call you, So you start arousing love, feeling like I want to be with him. Even if it's not working, I want to be with him. So don't get yourself there. It's not a safe place. If you're not happy, then don't do it.
Thank you very much. I go to I think this more of a comment from Teddy in Uganda. Thanks so much, Pauline. I'm past that age, 12 years into my marriage now. I do attest to that. Once you are God-fearing and the Holy Spirit ends up revealing everything to you. No energy is required for you to learn how true your partner is. Whatever he or she does in your absence will get revealed to you. Yeah. Okay,
thank you, Teddy. And that is something I would really want to emphasize, Matthew. And even
yes.
I know that anybody listening right now knows, if you're true to yourself, God will not allow you to go with an untrue person. He will reveal it. Remember, he revealed it. He has given you an example. He will reveal it. And when he reveals it, please flee. Don't hang him there. We only hang on to Jesus. Don't hang on to that man. Don't hang on to that girl. There's another one for you. There is. Yeah.
Thank you. A very interesting one here from John Pudus, who says, thanks, Pauline, for insights, and congrats, Matthew, for the work. Then he says, one has spotted her Mr. Right. This is a lady, her Mr. Right, but there is this problem. The guy thinks she deserves a better man than him, since the lady is the woman of virtue, the Proverbs 31:10 lady, and therefore fears approaching her. So the lady looks like she is ready, she's okay, but the man has a problem. Not because he doesn't love, but he feels like she deserves better. We have men like
so
those.
Now, so now that you see, remember I mentioned something about self-esteem issues, because there are gentlemen who suffer self-esteem issues. So if someone is telling you then you deserve better, then it's okay, then you deserve better. But what I would encourage that person, the gentleman now, for example, is for him to actually maybe work on knowing, why do I feel that way? Why do I feel this girl deserves better? Why ain't I confident with myself? Because if this girl also likes me, or you've gotten him to even loves me, then you need to know, what is it? What is the problem? Why aren't you confident? So, and that's why I'll take the person back to right person, work on it. See, get help, get your mentor, your counselor, your pastor, whoever you feel you can talk to just understand why you're feeling that way. But it's really nice that you know that you're feeling that way, then you can work on it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll combine two here from Toom and the other one from Ryan. Toom is saying, is it advisable to help each other financially, or do a joint business before marriage, or any other project together? Then Ryan is saying, according to this generation according to this generation, which is less risky, I be stable financially before marriage, or we grow together, which is also risky to a man in the perspective that the girl may be in for the money and the properties I own. You got it?
Okay, let me just do the first one first. Yes. Doing projects before you're married, don't do projects together before you're married. It can wait. It can wait. Okay, that's my advice to you. It can wait. There's, even when you hear people saying land, Siokemau, Kamulu, Gong Road, where land might end. There's nowhere land is going. Even our children who are small will get land. So let's do not be pushed by the motions of people. Let's do together. Do not, because you never know. I always tell people, even on the altar, when you're going to say I do, the pastor in every church always asks, are you ready? So even there, you can say I'm not ready. So imagine you're not ready because maybe you have been seeing red flags, then you decide you're not getting married and you have already committed your money. Now you'll start again redoing things again. Now, no, we open a joint account. So I would tell you, do not do projects together when they require finances before you're married. Yeah, you can paraphrase the other one. I can't remember.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's he's saying which is less risky between stable, getting married to somebody who is stable financially, or rather, okay, let me just, I be stable financially. This is a man
yes.
Before marriage,
yes.
Or we grow together in the, which is more risky. or which is better?
Which is more risky.
And of course, the last line he says the perspective of the girl she may be in for the money and properties I own.
Yes, and I'm telling you, if you're true to yourself, you will know whether that girl is in for the money. You will not miss it. If you take your relationship before marriage, you will know. Is this what you even asking one another, what does money mean to you? What when you might say, can we even triggering? I'm not saying you test one another, but even when you talk about things like maybe you're a giver, you'd want to give, then you hear somebody's sentiment. I mean, you will never miss to know. So I wouldn't say which is riskier, but because God may have given you wealth before you marry, so it doesn't mean you will not marry, you will marry. Somebody else, they will get married. The Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So you might get that wife, and that is when you start building finances. It may come immediately, it may come years later when you have tried business, and later after 20 years is when you get maybe a good return. So for me, it's either way, but you need to know what is money to you. So I wouldn't say any is riskier or which one is not. Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether this one is there. Let me ask for them. But if it's there, we will just, what if the lady is financially, doing well, and we are talking quite well than the man. You're getting attracted to a lady, but she's doing quite well. How do you go about that as a man and even as a lady?
I mean, if for you, you're sure that it's not the money again, it's the lady, and the lady also, it's not to do with the finance. I don't honestly have a problem with a lady who is more financially stable getting married. Of course, the society says he has been married, but the society, even if the society says that, but what about you? What do you think? Have you been married or have you married? If it's not affecting your ego, if it's not making you not feel the head of the family, because again, you're still the head. Even if it's not money which makes men the head, it is God who has made a man the head of a family. So and you could be the one who has more money before you marry. Along the way, you lose your job, your wife gets a job and gets more money than you. So life is very, and that's why it has to be these principles, not the outer. Money is an outer thing and it's a good thing. But what if it goes? Will your marriage still flourish? So that's how I can respond.
Thank you very much. Maybe a comment is that personal story. When we were getting married, my wife was earning much more than I was. She supported our wedding much more than I did. But somehow, immediately after we got married, the following month, I got a better job than her. So things changed.
Look at that. Look at that. Right on time testimony.
Yes. Yeah. So okay, fine. The Sam is saying that next time he would suggest that we have a question and answer session only. The questions are so many. Okay, a good suggestion there, Sam. We'll look into that. What if the guy is kind-hearted? This Karen asking. He is a Christian, but he has no stable job and no much effort. The last line. No much effort. Okay, kind-hearted, is a Christian, but has no stable job, but also no much effort.
Yeah, you see also the fact that, you see, you need to know, is it laziness? Laziness is not of God. And if it troubles you, that part of no much effort, then it means that you're not comfortable with it. Then you need to really just think about it. If I'm not comfortable, then maybe I don't need to go that way, because then it will keep affecting you. You will keep feeling bad. Then you start disrespecting him as the head of the home. So just know, how is it affecting you? You might know, oh, okay, this guy doesn't. But if it's really affecting you, and those are the things I say. Those are trivia. It's just showing you if it bothers you. And that's why I tell people, even when someone asks, what if the guy is younger than me and I'm older? What should I do? And I tell them, if it affects you, if it's affecting you, it means it's a problem for you. Then you don't need to go that way. So you need to weigh. How is it affecting you? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Some points here by Angela saying there's a study called 30 by 30. It's taught in some churches. the 3 things to look out for. That is similar values, mutual benefits, mutual acceptance is what the depth study. Some churches teach, like Mamlaka Chapel, Karula, and Community Chapel. Yeah, that sounds like a nice book or some nice content that somebody would like to look at. Thank you, Angela. Julius, thank you, Pauline. There is this other one. There's a lot of questions around independence and money. I find some ladies want to be independent while still married rather than not submitted. How can you deal with that? With that mentality? That's Julius Waithera.
Yeah, thank you for asking that, because of course independence now, because my saying about independence is what I explained. You know, someone who is not influenced by peers, who doesn't have to get, you know, approval of things, but it is what you agree, the two of you. But now independence again when now you're married, you become one. You need to realize that now you become, yes, you're independent, because even in marriage, there's what I like and there's what my husband likes. It doesn't mean that I put down now what I like. Now it has to be, there are goals that I have which we will share together. But then now it doesn't mean that I continue pursuing them in, you know, like trading my relationship to continue with what I like. So, of course, because I'm saying we don't lose ourselves when we get married. I'm still Pauline. My husband is still so and so. He has his likes and I have my likes. But you need to know when you get married, you need, I'm dependent in a way to my spouse. So for me, when I talked about independence is that what we agree, me and my spouse, is what goes. It is, I'm not influenced by, I must ask my pastor, I must ask. If we're asking our pastor, we are asking both of us. If we're asking our counselor, we want to do it together. So of course, independence, you are independent in marriage, but now you're one. You need to, there are times you'll be saying, I don't like doing this, but my husband likes it, I'll do it for him. I mean, there are things that your spouse likes, you don't like, which you will do or agree how to go about it, but you cannot say, may I never do that. No, now that one now brings a problem. Yeah.
Thank you. I've seen a question on WhatsApp, and and closely, maybe I want to join it with this. How can you enhance trust, especially when in a distant relationship? That's from Nancy. But on WhatsApp, somebody has, I don't know whether it has just been taken from here, it's a screenshot. Somebody is asking about, during COVID, we are social distancing, we are not even meeting. How do we go about relating? And yeah, what are some of the tips you can give about now online dating? So that we take it just like we are meetings online. Can we also date online, marry online and everything?
No, at least people are, I mean, we can't say totally we are not meeting, but you cannot meet in a crowd. But for long distance relationships, I personally now this is Pauline, I really discourage long distance relationships as much as you can, unless it's a defined one. You know, there are those ones, you know, after 2 months, after 3 months, I'll be back. But there's something about seeing somebody more than when you're not seeing that, because we can talk on phone, we can video, whatever, but I'll always be at my best. You know, when I put on the camera, even when I was coming, I wanted to be at my best. So I'll always be, whoever you're dating will always want to be at their best. Even on their phone, they'll always want to be at their best. And I'm not saying that distant relationships have not worked, but I personally feel that marriage is for companionship. You cannot have companionship on phone or on camera for a year or more, or many months. So I would encourage you definitely are still dating even now, seeing one another, you know. And so yeah, so continue dating, of course. When you plan the wedding, it's fewer people now, but it is important to meet. It is important to meet, and of course to meet in public places for now. I mean, before you're married, I highly encourage young people to try to keep purity. Don't have premarital sex. It has its own effects in marriage. So yeah, you can continue dating, but for long distance relationship, undefined, For me, no. Because at times you might say, we will get back together maybe when we get married, we can plan on how. If it's not working before, like the planning of how you relocate, either of you, and process has begun and it's actually actualized, because you might try it and it doesn't work after. So what happens? Does it mean you still continue? So that's how I look at it.
Okay, thank you very much. A very interesting question here by Mag. I like this. I'm waiting for the answer. Is it wrong for ladies to initiate things, i.e. pursuing men, or should it be the man doing all the work all the time? I mean, you're feeling him, you know. I mean, I can see this guy is the one, but he's not seeing or saying anything.
He's not seeing. Well, men are hunters. That's the way God wired men. It's the man who looks. It could be culture, because maybe also maybe in the West you might see, but even in the West, you'll see even men are the ones who pursue. And for the lady, because of our makeup, it's always nice to be pursued. So you don't want to feel you are also not pursued. I mean, if you're liking him and he likes you, but he's not able to say, then maybe you just ask the Lord, this guy, he needs to say what he wants. Let him. I believe in power of prayer so much. If it's him, God will bring him your way. Yeah. And if he's right there, I mean, you could, I don't know, maybe even if you have mutual friends, like tell them, this guy he's not saying, what is it? Maybe find out, could he be dating someone else? I'm thinking he's just polite and all and not asking me. So you might be there thinking you need to ask him. Maybe he has already also moved on. So you can find out, maybe from mutual friends if you have them. But I think it's good for a lady to be pursued. That's what I feel.
Thank you. I was telling, maybe we need to go towards concluding, but I was telling my wife, and by there I was serious, that I'm this kind of guy who was saying, if she's the one and I'm already feeling her, and or maybe she discovers before me, she's a few steps ahead of me, and we are mutually feeling the same thing. I mean, if she comes and proposes, she will have met her, my work is here, and I will just say yes. Let's move on.
That is nice. Well, that is Matthew's perspective. So yeah, and it is okay, and he has no problem with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was completely personal. So again, don't go trying that as ladies all over. It may not work, but for me it would have worked. Well, I never got that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does it mean when a man all of a sudden avoids communication, texting, calling, and when you ask him for an explanation, he either says that it shall be well, we'll talk. It's now been 2 months for the same. It's 2 months, same behavior. Should I walk away? That's from Winnie.
Well, I would ask her, what do you think? What do you think? Because I mean, she's the one in that situation. What does she feel? I mean, 2 months is a long time, even 1 month, and you have been talking before and all. So definitely, this is a person. And I remember I said at the very beginning, there are relationships we are in at times, and they are just wasting time. So don't be in a relationship when you really know that we are wasting time. This guy is taking me for a ride. Why would he? If it was a planned time, Museme, let's take 2 months to think through our relationship. That is different from someone has just decided not to talk to you. So it also depends how advanced are you in your relationship? Is it a trait? Is it a one-off? Is the person going through? Because also there's a lot of mental illness issues. Is it something that he needs help? So you need to find out. And if you clarify and it comes down to there's actually no issue, you're just taking it, then you need to make a decision. We always we like to hear from somebody. Some of the things I'm telling you what I think, but in counseling, I'll want to hear what do you think, and then now I work with what you desire.
Okay, thank you. I think we are going towards the close.
Is it you, Matthew, or is it me?
I think it is Matthew.
Oh, yeah, because I realized it just went off. He froze a bit. So, yeah, so it was nice being with you guys as Matthew comes back. And I want to pray that you're back, Matthew. All right. I was
Oh,
giving
sorry.
my
Yes, I just
thanks.
noticed. I just noticed I was on my own. Sorry for that.
Okay.
I think network issues. Yeah. So I hope you had that comment about mouth washing. I don't know. Yeah. So somebody is saying that we are being mouth washed, which is good. But what I was saying is that I had posted yesterday saying for those ones who may have kissed so many frogs, they come for mouth washing. I believe that is what the guy is referring to. Okay, fine. Lastly, how do we bring up the discussion of our past life? That has been asked privately.
Oh, yeah, that is good. That's a very important question. Past life, it is very important to discuss, and especially when now you're actually realizing we're starting a relationship. It's very important to, and that's why I say the first thing is, have you dealt with your past? So if you've dealt with it, you should be able to share it with that person you're now relating with for marriage. And let me give an example of something like abortion. You went through an abortion. It is something that you need to share. Do not miss to share, because when you miss to share, then it will still come up in marriage. So let the person know that this is me, this is what I went through growing up, and I was sexually molested, even maybe this is how my family is like, a lot of dysfunctionality. Just talk about everything. This is how I was, this is how school was. Take one another through steps. I'm just giving those examples because those ones have always come in forums like this. Do I need to? Yes, you need to. You have dealt with it, and so the person needs to know, this is the package. This is me. This is what I went through in life. Yes, it's important.
Okay, thank you very much. I can see we have exhausted. I think we have tried that. We have answered all the questions, but of course,
Yeah.
at a cost, 30 minutes cost. And
Yeah.
I think, okay, somebody is telling me, thank you for selecting my question. You're welcome. Yeah, so
Wow.
I really feel honored, and I know we have already a few people, quite a number, have walked out. Before you walk out, we want to make closing remarks, and I will show you the upcoming session or rather program in the next 2 days. So for that, just keep there. Yeah. So I wanted to say thank you very much, our coach Pauline. I think that's been awesome. You know, what I would love to say, and this is where I began, this session was, actually this program was born out of, it was a continuation of some mentorship I was doing in my house. And the areas of relationship we have discussed so many times with the youths in my house. And so I'm feeling so much at home. And I can see the same things that we have always, the same questions I've always handled and seen are the same ones which are being asked. There's a lot of interest around this area, and understandably so. There's a lot of course, uncertainties. You know, if it's a question of money and it's just about you, you can handle, you can console yourself. But now this other one is involving another party. Yeah, so it becomes quite and it's not your sister or your brother. You have been born and brought up together, so you don't know so much about them. So I really like this. I can tell from the interest I've seen today, we might need another one soon, but we will see. We will see. Okay. Thank you guys for coming. It's been wonderful. I want to give Pauline an opportunity to make her closing remarks. Then I will show you the poster for the session that is coming next. It's a power-packed one. You don't want to go before you see. Thank you.
Wow, I just want to say that, I mean, I've been where you are. Remember, I've shared my journey. For me, what I would plead with you as a counselor now, not just Pauline, is do not ignore any red flag that you see. We want you to enjoy marriage. We want you to be happy. We don't want your relationships in marriage terminated before time because of separation and divorce. So take heed right now, and yeah, we are there. Matthew is there. Other married people are there to just walk with you and to clarify. So You're valued by God. God wants the best for you. He authored marriage. He's got the manual for marriage. So I can go on and on and on, but I wish you well in your relationships. Thank you very much for having me tonight. I have enjoyed also. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Pauline, it's been a great pleasure. And thank you for the youths, all of you who are here on Facebook and the ones who have checked out. It's been a pleasure having you. And I'm so encouraged to see that you could get interested to come and learn. Because, I mean, you don't want just to be driven by emotions, as Pauline said earlier. The emotions are usually too high. You are likely to even ignore red flags just because you are feeling so much love. And where you get, you know, it's good to listen to the advice of, or maybe counseling of a counselor like Pauline, and yeah, opinion of others. And sometimes it may not be agreeing totally with the way you feel, but sometimes somebody is seeing far than you. I've had unfortunate situations where maybe I told a couple, we were able to guide a couple and tell them, no. I think you need to work on you before you plan the marriage. You need a bit more time, because yeah. And then they were like, no. In fact, some anyway, let me not give this example. Yeah, but some of them have been having very terrible marriages, and some even separated. When just because of not failing to listen, they think that you wish them bad. And I mean, I can't marry their lady, you know, so really, you don't wish them. I mean, you are just trying to help. So thank you.